That's what mostly you. Mostly you, eh?
I don't know what to say yesterday.
You'll be right. Welcome back to another episode of Krissy and Friends on the Wealth Corner. And I have a special friend here with me again, the ultimate day one, Chanice. And Chanice will, walk us through on her life, career, success, and growing up, and all of that. So, yeah, how does it feel being here?
It feels a little weird. All the cameras and the lights. I'm like, who am I? Who are you? But
Very special.
It feels very, very different, and I'm excited to be here and just talk a little bit on the Wealth Corner.
Yeah, lovely.
Share a little bit.
So I'm gonna walk you through a couple of questions, and you guys will get to know much more about her. First question: what was your very first job, and how much did you earn, if you remember?
My first job was a bank teller in Grenada, Scotia Bank. I don't think it's existing right now. I think it's a different name now. Yeah, I don't remember how much I used to make, but I don't think it was anything much. But it was enough because I lived with mom and Uncle Chris and my brothers and stuff, so I didn't have real responsibilities like paying a mortgage or rent or anything like that. So I just, had enough to enjoy, life a little bit, and then to use the money to save to get my ticket and stuff to come to the US to start school. So that was my goal of working for 1 year in the bank before.
So you just worked for 1 year?
Yeah, I just left for 1 year. After I graduated to MCC, I was lucky enough to get a job in the bank, and I did that for 1 year because mom wanted me to be a little bit more mature, my brothers too, I think, before I left the island for the US. So that was helpful.
Good. So what was it like moving from Grenada to the US? What was the biggest challenge you've ever faced? I know you mentioned you saved. Was any of that money transferable to?
No, it was not enough money. I saved enough money because that was a goal that my mom and my stepdad and my brothers and them set for me, to be able to use some of that money to get the ticket to go to Barbados, to get the visa, so that I contributed in some way. But I was fully dependent on my mom to support me while I was there. And I did find a job. So I had a job in the US as a student, on campus as well. It was real late hours, sometimes 3 a.m. in the morning. You had to go in the dorms and just kind of be the front desk person. But other than that, I didn't have enough money saved up to support anything.
And you were 20 at the time, right?
Yeah, 21. Yeah, when I left. So, and then my biggest challenge, I would say, is just in the beginning was just being away from family, being in a new space. It was just different, But after a while, I got used to it. But that was the biggest challenge.
Which state did you move to?
I moved to Texas. Yeah, so we're gonna keep going.
To Texas and Grenada to Texas, you felt any similarities? Or I know the Caribbean Students Union is very so I guess missing home is one thing, but
yeah, thank God for the Caribbean Students Organization. We had a ton of students from all different islands, so it felt very homey. Not even if you weren't home, it was nice because you were welcomed by them and stuff. They had rooms and stuff ready to go and set up for you and stuff. So that was very helpful. But home will always be home, even if you have people in the US. That reminds you of home is nothing like leaving your mom and your dad and your brothers and the comfort of your own bed. And even if I wasn't making much as a bank teller, I moved from making money to not making money until I found a job in the US, which it was just enough money.
So did you always know what field you wanted to work in, or did you?
I thought I knew when I was in convent. Secondary school, high school,
SJC.
Yes, SJC. I was very keen on accounting. Like accounting was what I loved doing. I knew like I wanted to go off and do accounting.
And I remember that too.
Yes, like I was very set on that, and I felt very good because I feel like sometimes as a young person you kind of struggle, which is fine. Like
I
everybody
struggled, so.
go through parts of struggling, but I felt that was like the one thing at the time. I was like, oh, I knew I was gonna be doing accounting until I didn't. So I came to the US, even through TAMCC, I did accounting, business and stuff. And then I came to the US and I specialized in accounting for my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. And then I realized I didn't like it.
She did not like it, guys. She did not like accounting.
I did not like it. So then after that, I decided to do project management because I was very interested in like the people aspect of business and just interacting with people, projects, things that change on a day-to-day basis, and like it's different every day. It's not the same old crunching numbers. No offense to people who love accounting, that is a special skill.
Absolutely.
But for me, I knew I wanted to do accounting back in the day because I've always wanted to have my own business, and I thought it would be good to like understand the money of it. But somewhere along the line, like I lost that
Passion.
dream, yeah, and
Right.
like the passion for accounting. But I was able to segue and do my PMP, which is the certification for project management, and now that's kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis, projects, operations.
And anyhow you look at it, it's like a stepping stone into whatever,
what's, yeah.
you know. How was your financial mindset growing up, and how did that mindset change once you started working in the US?
My financial mindset growing up.
And honestly, we never had these conversations like back then. Like it was
Yeah.
different. But
Well, back then, remember we used to always say, comfortable is not enough.
Yes,
Like we used to have this saying
we
together,
did.
like we like comfortable for us was not enough.
It's just too basic.
Yeah, it was just too basic. Like we wanted to be successful, and we had that drive to like really figure it out. But it's a question.
So like when you got to the US, what shifted for you? So like we knew we didn't want to be basic, but I guess gear two of that would have been actually having the knowledge of finances in itself, like seeing your bank account go up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then do you feel like you had like a certain shift where you're like, I have to lock in like seriously? Like you know you want to
I
do
feel
good.
like we talking like we'll have like the shift in mindset came like after my master's degree. So like you do your bachelor's for like 3 years, however long transfer credits. You do your master's for about a year and a half, and plus I worked for a year in between that. So let's say 5 years into being into the US, like my mindset changed because even with the money that I was making as like a student assistant or whatever the name was at the time, as a front desk person, like that was not enough to see any increase in bank account. That was money coming in and the money paying the not rent, but like paying like electricity and stuff, because like my mom would send me the money for like rent. So there was not enough shift in my bank account. But coming from Grenada, my mindset there, all I learned about was savings, and not really from school, because I don't feel like they taught us that. Like we had like a savings union and stuff when we was in primary school. But other than that, my mom was the one that sat down, wrote down all her bills, wrote down how much the bills are, and then showed me what her income was, and then subtracted that and said basically at the end of the month, when I say no to XYZ, this is why. So that was my first introduction to finances, I guess, and then she showed me how much she puts away to like have a little stack saved.
Right.
But it was just savings, nothing about investing.
Yeah.
My mindset shift 5 years later, after like getting my master's degree, getting into my first job, and being like, okay, like I really have to manage this money now. Like, you know, what do I do? And I started looking at podcasts, listening to podcasts, and looking at YouTube on the way to work and stuff. And that's kind of how I developed my learning for finance. I don't know everything, but I damn well know a lot more than I did in Grenada.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I know you like budgeting and stuff, so this is kind of like a more vague question, but you're good at budgeting, one. But I want you to talk about you being such a saver, because I know, like, if to say we would go out anyway. Like we would be like, yeah, this is too much. This is too much. I know
expensive.
you look at money like you hoard that.
Yes.
You hoard it.
And I feel like I've gotten better now because I really had to shift that mindset, because in the beginning, like learning about finance, you never had a lot, so it's like now you kind of want to like hold on to the point where like I was working so much. I actually was working 2 jobs at one point, not that I needed to, but like I had a full-time job, steady income, good income, and then I wanted a part-time job.
And you were a workaholic.
I am a workaholic.
You are. Like early 20s, I remember you used to work like all the time.
All the time. Like, I mean, that's how I knew to get money. So I basically had to work a lot, and then once I got that money, I kind of had to shift my mindset in terms of like, okay, I'm bringing this money in, but then how do I enjoy life? Because for a long time I was not enjoying life. I was just hoarding and saving and all of that, to the point now where I feel like, okay, Chanice, you could tone it back a little bit now. Absolutely. Because I really kind of like enjoying life, which life is good right now. It's great. Life has ups and downs, and I do feel like it's important, especially when you're young and you don't have like kids and stuff. Not that if you're young and you do have kids, you can't enjoy life, but I'm talking from my perspective. It's very important to just explore and like enjoy life. So now I feel like, yes, I'm good at budgeting, but I have to shift my mindset now. Because before I was a hoarder, now I'm kind of like carefree. I'm having fun, and now it's like, okay, time to lock in now.
And Maurice mentioned one time being a bother. So a bother is basically where you save and you spend, and having a good balance of both is key. So like you working, I'm finally happy that you're able to at least like lay back for a little bit and enjoy you putting in the work and all the rewards that you've gotten over the years, just as a result of working hard. And in terms of working hard, we could segue into like your career path and like where you are now, because all of this, it counted for something. Your hard work, it didn't just go in vain basically. So talk us through, you don't have to go into like detail, but like just talk us through what it was like climbing the ladder, going through the different companies and being where you are right now.
I felt like I talked a lot about like, I got my bachelor's degree in accounting and then my master's degree in accounting, and then I came out and I'm like, damn, like I really don't love this, but I knew why I did it. I wanted a skill, I wanted a skill in accounting, provided that in the business area along with finance, but I chose accounting over finance for whatever reason. After that, I decided, okay, I really want to lock in with my PMP. But on the path to locking into my PMP, I got introduced to a tax accounting firm, and I did that for 3 months. I'm not proud of that because I'm not one to start and quit, but sometimes I do feel like you have to know when something is not your calling. Actually, the job that I'm in right now, I've been there for like 6 years, and there's different conversations around that in terms of job hopping and stuff. I just really enjoyed that company, so I stuck with them for the most part. But this job, I stayed there for 3 months, and I decided, okay, no way, like I can't do this anymore. So then I got into the wealth management industry. That's the company that I'm with right now. I did some billing aspects of it that needed my accounting degree, but then after that I was able to sort of pivot into project management by doing my PMP. I got introduced to a consulting firm that I worked for a while, and then I also worked for Meta as a project manager, and then returned to the wealth management industry once I was affected by the layoffs in 2023. So I do project management right now, and for the most part, I work on projects, I work on the integrations.
Super successful.
Yes, I work as the director of integrations at the company. I was able to build up for 5 years and get to that level, so I'm very proud of myself. It took a lot of hard work, but I do a lot of operations work. I support mergers and acquisitions, and I really, really enjoy what I do. There are some days when I come to work and I'm just like, bro, like why do I have to deal with this right now? But for the most part, I don't wake up thinking, oh my gosh, like it's Monday, like I don't want to get to work. Like I like what I do for right now.
That's amazing. Who or what kept you motivated on your career path and the journey and everything in between?
Who or what kept me motivated?
And also, you could kind of tie this back into us being younger.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was about to say, is it wrong if I say me? Because,
yeah.
like, I feel like I mean, okay, let me take a step back. I have brothers who went through the same path as me, so I did have really good examples. When I say path, I mean, like, they left Grenada, they came to the US, they were able to do their bachelor's and, like, move forward, and then I saw that they had opportunity that they probably, at the time, would not have had in Grenada. And please, like, I'm just talking from my perspective. I left since 2014, so that's just my perspective of what Grenada was then at the time and not what it is right now. So I had a path that I followed because my brother set that path for me. But on the journey of, like, keeping myself, like, being motivated, I definitely think that came from internal, because me and you, like we discussed earlier, like, we just always had a drive to be successful. Thinking about it, I don't really know where it came from, but I think it, for me at least, it probably, like, seeing my mom and that, like, her writing down all the things that she pays on a monthly basis and her income, and then seeing, like, it wasn't really a lot left. I just never wanted to be like living hand to mouth, not that we were, but I just wanted
So
something
paycheck to
different.
paycheck
Yeah,
or something.
I just wanted to, like, have a different lifestyle and be exposed to different opportunities and growth, so that I would be able to provide more for when I do have a family or kid way in the future. Yes, I think that drive came from internal,
so
like, internal being and
intrinsic motivation.
Yeah.
Just you wanting to be your best self and giving yourself the opportunity up front to expose yourself to all of these, things that might come your way or came your way at the time. And
Yeah, definitely came from, like, seeing a little bit of struggle, and then wanting to not have that. So just keep on pushing forward to, like, get better growth and opportunity, like, moving forward.
So if you could talk to the version of yourself before moving, or just your younger self, what advice would you give her?
I would tell her to stop worrying so much, because I feel like I am a worrier. I am a worrier. I'm an overthinker. Like, I overthink everything. And sometimes I just need to chill. So, like, I would be very, like, kind to her, and, like, I'd give her a kiss, and I would tell her, like, don't worry so much, like, everything's going to work out. No matter if you struggle a little bit on the way to finding what you want to do, or even, like, right now where I'm at, I'm happy in my job, but I know, like, this is not where, like I mentioned,
don't get comfy.
I mentioned always wanting to have my own business. I still don't know what that's going to look like, and, like, that doesn't mean that it's going to happen next year. I still have a lot of figuring out to do, but like, I just want to tell her, like, not to worry so much. Like, things are going to work out.
So even if you don't necessarily know what the next business would look like for you, how do you envision the next 5 years out for you financially, and I guess somewhat career-wise?
Financially, I would like my income to increase, even if I feel like I am doing well right now. It's always good to, like, in 2 years' time, like, am I making XYZ? Like, what is my points for, like, increase in income? Like, you can't be stagnant all the time. That's just not growth. Like, I can't just stay with a company because I like a company. And so far, it's been panning out for me where, like, financially, it's beneficial because, like, there's increases and stuff, so great. But in the next 5 years, I definitely want my income to grow so that I would have more disposable income, I guess, to be able to invest and save more.
When I tell you let's go to France or wherever.
Yes, we could just book that trip, and then to be able to use that income to also fund my business, because right now I'm just working a 9 to 5 and we paying bills and we enjoying life. But, like, there's that other side of, like, my dream. Like, my dream is not to work a 9 to 5, although I'm thankful for it. My dream is not that. My dream is to own something one day, whatever that might look like. But I want to be able to increase my income in the next 5 years, whatever that might look like.
And your income will, the 9 to 5, the money you get from your 9 to 5, that will fund it to some degree as well. So,
but then again, like living in the US where like things are expensive, it's like sometimes you have enough to like enjoy life, or like you have enough to put away a little bit or whatever, but not necessarily enough to go off and start a whole new business.
Right.
And do you want to get into loans and all of that? Are you educated enough to like not go into a loan and blow it? So it's just research and really just understanding, the path for like a business in the next 5 years.
And we both live in expensive states as it stands right now. So
take me back to North Carolina.
Yeah.
Or South Carolina or something there where I could get drinks for $5.
Nah, it's rough in that sense. And even like your salary would look good on paper, but once you start to cut away those expenses, it's like
it's not really.
Am I a little broke?
Yeah, it's like am I broke out here because something the math not mathing No, and then by the time you put something in your HSA, in your 401k, like you have a little emergency fund set up, or like let's say you're not doing that and you're paying your bills, but like you're enjoying life a little bit, because sometimes it's like balance, like you save and you invest at some point, and then you stop and then you enjoy life a little bit and then you start back. Like after a while still it's just like, damn, like am I broke? Am I broke? Because like, how am I supposed to have a kid right now? And it's just me and maybe somebody else, or maybe just me alone. But kudos to everybody else who's figuring it out. And again, I'm just talking from my perspective. Like, sometimes it's just, you look at your income and you're like, I know I'm doing well, but like this not adding up.
And it's hard for millennials in general. Like, everything is harder, just as opposed to the Gen X's and all that, the baby boomers. It's much harder to attain things now. And you see it, you can go Google it basically. It's harder to own a home. It's like little things, rents, sky. Like, if you want something nice, tell yourself it's $3K within that range of 3 to 3.5K if you want a nice, like, luxurious home or something in New York. So it's hard, but we are doing the best we can.
We are doing the best we can. You have to give credit to that. Like, you definitely have to take the good when it comes, and not belittle like how far you've come just because on paper, like just because the math not mathing all the time. Like, you're doing good, you're fine, it's going to work out basically. Like
your mindset is really important on that. So because if you look at your salary and decide, all right, I'm making enough, and let that depress you, that will just set you back. So it's like, all right, what's the next move? Like, as you said, 2 to 3 years. It's like, okay, how could I earn more? At the end of the year. Even for me, I want to do like some reevaluations on everything, like job and stuff. Like, where do I want to see myself within the next 2 to 3 years? And if the salary doesn't align, then it's time to start looking.
And again, it's like, we could say it's time to start looking, but like we have so much stuff working against us right now. Like, the job market is tough. You go on LinkedIn and you see all these stories, and I'm not saying that's like everybody's story, but like the job market is tough. It's one thing to look at it and be like, I need to like increase my income, but like that in itself as well takes time to like find something else new, or like, do you start something and do you even like it, but you can't let fear deter you. But I'm just saying, like, you're working with a lot right now, so it's just very important to like stay positive and like
make calculated moves.
Make calculated moves and really plan for the future. Like, don't just do risky things that may not pay off.
So, last question. So if money wasn't an issue, what career or job would you do for fun?
I would not do a job. I would not do a job. I would own my own business.
If money wasn't an issue, what would you do for fun? Like, if money wasn't the end goal, like if you weren't even probably being paid, what would you do for fun? Like,
as in a job? I don't want to work for nobody.
Would you work in a bakery?
No, I will. I will own something if money was not an issue. Like, if I had all the money in the world, or like if money was not an end goal for fun, I will own something, because that is I want to see something realized that I created. That is fun for me. I don't want to work a job.
Fearless. So we've come to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have gotten to know her
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. So I'll see you guys in the next episode, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Bye!